Good afternoon, Alan here, and we've got our chicken wing that we did our dissection on, and I just want to talk about the skeletal system and talk about synovial joints. Well, we've got our chicken here, so as you can see, we've got our elbow joint, right, our quote-unquote elbow joint of the chicken, and I've dissected, pulled the muscles back and the tendons back, and there's our joint, just like that. Synovial joints, right? They're made for movement. It's made for movement. It's the way that it's built is and allows for the bones to work together to create movement. And that's essentially what we have here in this elbow joint, right? Our extension and flexion, right? We end up with a hard stop at extension, which is exactly what that bone does right there. And what we have is in this synovial joint, you've got several components, right? But the main components are our bones, the bones that go with it. The humerus, right? We've got our radius and our ulna. And all three articulate with each other to form that synovial joint. Right, as you can see here, we've got the humerus on this side, and on this side right here, we've got both the radius and the ulna, right? And each fit perfectly together in that synovial joint. So the different components, though, that make up the synovial joint, right? All of that joint is covered by the joint capsule. And here I've left kind of that capsule intact. Get my right there's our joint capsule, and you can see on this side I have it removed so we can see inside that joint. On this side I left it right there so we can see the back side that covers the joint and keeps everything inside. And within that joint we've got our articular cartilage, which covers the ends of these bones, right? And we've also got the membrane, which is just inside that joint capsule here, right? We've got that membrane just inside, and that kind of encloses the joint even more, which allows for that synovial fluid to run through the middle of that joint space. Right? It runs through the middle of that joint space, lubricates the joint, allows for that movement. Makes it easy for the bones to articulate with each other and glide over each other. Otherwise, you end up with bone-on-bone contact, which is not good and usually causes a lot of pain. As we dive into some pathologies with synovial joints, one that I see not very commonly in the clinic, but one that I have treated over the last year a few times is adhesive capsulitis, otherwise known as frozen shoulder. And what happens is in that joint space, right, and the joint capsule, right, the joint capsule becomes fibrous and it becomes dense, and it essentially causes scar tissue, and that inflammation in scar tissue stops the movement of the joint. Essentially, it locks it down and it binds that joint together. And like I said, 99% of cases occur in the shoulder, which then it becomes really painful for patients to move, specifically into abduction, external rotation, and internal rotation. And like that joint is painful to move. And there's three phases of frozen shoulder. You have the freezing, the frozen, and the thawing phase. And for the most part, the etiology is unknown, and sometimes it's very randomly onset, but some other traumas can also cause it. But it's important to know the aspects of the joint and that synovial joint specifically, so that way we can treat frozen shoulder and what to do moving forward. So there's my my friend the chicken, and there's the skeletal system. See you guys next time.